So, Vrish, you might have noticed that the Detroit city of Detroit actually was declared bankrupt recently. You know, Detroit tumbles into insolvency, and it says that how it died, and all the belt in America where car and auto components are manufactured today, they are called the Rust Belt of USA, because today the cars are manufactured cheaper in India, China, Japan, Philippines. So this whole belt collapsed. And it's not only Detroit, there are a whole lot of cities that are collapsing in America. Now, why am I talking about these cities to you in Temple Economics? Because these cities were called the cities of new economy. The Ford car started its manufacture in Detroit. And so that is the status of the cities of new economy. They are collapsing, you know. And this is what happens. Today they are saying, which Chennai used to be called Detroit of India, is collapsing. Guys are moving out of Chennai because Gujarat is offering them better deals in terms of energy, in terms of land, in terms of labor laws. So the so-called cities of new economy are collapsing less than 100 odd years. I'll look at it, another set of cities, the oldest city in the world, Banaras. You know? And if I ask you the 5 oldest cities in the world where there is a continuous living civilization or population, you'll name, the 5 names will be Banaras, Pushkar, Ujjain, Madurai, Patna. None of them are known for their industries. So I have a proven example that the cities have survived, have continuous living population just based on temple. And actually speaking, if I would have been a research conference, I can stop after this. I've rested my case. And I can give you 50 cases like this of modern economy and temple economy. And I'll share some more with you. So that's where the temple economics come in part. And I'll take you in details. So temple economy works with the new economy, internet model. You know, you can just, this guy supplies all puja material based out of Pune. आपको सत्यनारायण की कथा करानी है, क्या लगता है हम में से किसी को नहीं मालूम, इनके वेबसाइट पे ऑर्डर कीजिए, सत्यनारायण कथा का सारा सामान आपके पास घर पे कुरियर हो जाएगा 24 घंटे में. आपको लक्ष्मी पूजा करानी है, ऑर्डर कर दीजिए, लक्ष्मी पूजा के जो जो सामान चाहिए वो डिलीवर हो जाएगा. He makes couple of lakhs, close to a crore, and soon we will be buying his IPO. Religion offers divine help for online startups. There is a huge online market for religion product. So that's where Hinduism survives, or the temple economy survives. It always adopts to the new economy, which won't happen in other religious cases. And I'll show you how or why. Now, we have a government in power which, left, right, and center abuses temples. Jairam Ramesh, unfortunately, I put it as a classic case of upbringing. I think for meditation, he goes to toilet. That's why he said they are more cleaner. So, and it will happen, not to blame him, because we don't stop kids when they take their story book to sit on the toilet and sit there, So that's how the cultural effect, the kind of shit pot uses, develops on you slowly. So that's how you start meditating on shit pot, and you come and make a statement like Jairam Ramesh. But MMTC, the public sector unit, one of those rare public sector unit which is making money, actually survives on auctioning products of temples. Right from here, from Tirupati temple to gold to laddu. And it's, fortunately or unfortunately, MMTC is headquartered in Calcutta, the communist bastion. And one of those rare companies which is making, and if they just remove their all business which they get out of temple, MMTC will have to be shut down. No. So that's the economy, Indian economy. The microfinance, we hear of several cases. The most and the best profitable and most, principled microfinance that is run by the temple in Karnataka, and which is taken as a model by the world over today. And it's a business today, the secular papers, clipping or magazines I use always. No. So this is Temple Town turns hotspots for global hotel chains. So you can see across industry which survives in India just on temples. This is what slide which will interest most of you. Then stock tip, which company to invest in. If the companies have a name of a god, they make profit even in recession. And this is Economic Times saying it. Though they find it hard to digest. Sabrimala earns rupees 74 crore in 33 days. And I'll come and elaborate on this point. And how they run this country's economics. If the government has to build an airport, they go to a temple. The most modern economy. And we fund other religions also. Why temples? Very interesting. The other recession cast shadow on religion is about church. Churches are closing down. 2 days back, Swaminarayan has bought the biggest church in Canada. So it establishes why temple economy is a sustainable model, and not the church or the mosque model. So that is, and religion remains unfazed by recession. These are Hindu temples they are talking about it. So we have enough pointers as far as the research pointers, if you need, that there is a temple economics. But unfortunately, Indian media, again, it's a classic case of upbringing. How they headline, local joins hands to kill the temple tank ghost. If you read the story, there's nothing like ghost in it, It's just saying that there was an old tank which temples always maintained in this country, which was cleaned by local people. They got together. So I couldn't figure out, or maybe my English is not good enough, the part of ghost. I tried speaking to the journalist. He refused to comment on the headline. This is where comes Sister Nivedita said, had Niagara been situated on the Ganges, how different would have been its valuation by humanity. Instead of picnic and pleasure trips, the perennial pilgrims of worshipping crowds. Instead of pleasure groves, ashrams, small sylvan homes of hermits. Instead of hotels, temples. Instead of excess of sensuous indulgence, the simplicity and severity of self-restraint, asceticism. Or instead of treating it as a mighty means to the end of producing economic utilities by the creation of a motive power, a reaction against objectivity, a more absorbing subjectivity, a detachment from the body and the outward material world to feed the life of the spirit. So just imagine, you can visualize how a Puri beach looks to you or how a Goa beach looks, East and West coast. It defines the difference. You go to Puri, you go to temple. You go to Goa, you go do a drugs. That's temple economics. And this is what can be bigger proof. Yoga, which is known for meditation and self-restraint, has become sex cult. That's how they look at it. It's classic difference, how you look at things. And it stems from culture, and it's not only this. There is a flower called, I should have carried the picture, it's called Nagfali or Kailashpati. It is grown in Shiva temples. It's called Nagpati because the flower petals looks like a hood of the snake. So we are trained to look at God or human being, everywhere divine. This tree is grown across the world, in Europe, in America. There, they identify the tree with the fruit. The fruit comes in a brown ball kind of shape, this size. So they call it a cannonball tree. So what you look, one is a divinity, one is a source of destruction. It's the same tree. There are many examples like this, since we're talking it. Shakespeare and Tulsidas were contemporary. Shakespeare is known to have written 15 books. There is a huge debate that he has written 4 on his own. 11 he paid someone else, and he used his names. Tulsidas is also known to have written 15 odd books. Again, there is a dispute that Tulsidas wrote 5 or 6. The rest others wrote and put Tulsidas' name on it, so that it will become famous. So that's how the whole civilization aspect differs. The picture that you see is of Jay Wadia in Kumbh Mela. Now, before I proceed further, I'll connect these 3 points. What you slide saw, Sabrimala makes 33 crores in 3 months. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, it's fine if I mix Hindi and English, some words. सावन में कांवड़ जाते हैं, शिव पानी लेके पैदल जाते हैं, So there are a lot of strict rituals. आप क्या खाएंगे, क्या नहीं खाएंगे. So on average, एक आदमी, ये 3 साल पहले की रिपोर्ट है, आज की महंगाई के हिसाब से अलग होता फिगर. Average person will spend 300 rupees. And 2 years back, 60 crores people went to Haridwar in 30 days. So there was a 180 crores disbursement, which was totally democratic and corruption free. वो आदमी पैदल जाता है, पैदल आता है, चाय वाले से चाय पिएगा, चना खाएगा, घर लौटते हुए गुब्बारे या गुड़िया घर के बच्चों के लिए लेके आएगा. It was no RBI, no World Bank, no SBI can replicate this model. And that is what was pilgrimage meant in India. You know, every pilgrimage had a sanctity कि यहाँ से इतने दूर से लोग आएंगे. अभी आपने सुना होगा अयोध्या में 84 कोसी परिक्रमा. So each religious festival had a sanctity कि यहाँ इतने दूर तक के लोग आएंगे. So the money used to keep revolving in the society. So that was the whole motive. जब आप यहाँ से वहाँ जाते हैं और वहाँ से यहाँ आते हैं, so पूरी इकोनॉमी के पैसे उसमें मूव होता है. एंड वी हैड मेनी प्लेसेस लाइक पंढरपुर, 15 लाख लोग जाते हैं, एवरेज स्पेंड 1500 रुपये. यू मल्टीप्लाई इट. शबरीमलाई इज 5000 रुपीज स्पेंड, एवरेज स्पेंड 55 lakh people visit that place. And we have 25,000 such fairs across this country. So you can imagine the kind of money because of just religious activity it moves around. So that's how the whole concept comes in of pilgrimage linkage to temple. And which now people have started realizing it. Business today calls it Maha Market. How innovatively Lux used it was they talked about ad. People go for inspiration. The creative people landed this time, all advertising world people, so that they can get some inspiration there. So they find the Kumbh seers are healthier. Kumbh leaves Harvard doctors amazed. This was a very interesting thing. Again, the journalist, not to blame them, it's their upbringing which I always blame. Naga Pops, Naga Pops revital. Say they don't realize that, they are lucky that none of the Naga sadhus read this. The kind of violent streak they have, Economic Times won't find where to run. And it's not that they're all illiterate. I know some of the squadron leaders who went on to become Naga. So they're intelligent lot. Forget that, how people are using it. That is what I was talking about, the economy. In each pilgrimage place you will find this, how you communicate. And that is what Kumbh was always meant to be. The seers used to get together and they used to decide the course of the nation for next 12 years. And that is what Kumbh was meant to be. And that was said कि each pilgrimage has a sanctity कि कितने किलोमीटर दूर से लोग आएंगे. कुंभ में पूरे भारत से लोग आएंगे. So that's how the whole thing was planned. Again, I was talking about hotel. So this is the luxury. You could have rented a tent for 1.5 lakh for one night there. Kumbh in numbers. So basically, it gives lot of figures, how much money has been spent and how much money was earned by whom. The total spend, if you see left, 1160 and 800. So total government spending on this Kumbh was of 2,000 crores in setting up facilities, making makeshift tents and all those stuff. So 2,000 crores government spent on Kumbh. And the money government made out of Kumbh, 12,000 crores. So that's what I call temple economics. And it's not that I'm looking at unnecessary temple as an economic point. World over they look. Olympic is always looked as an economic. So it's the same thing. Kumbh is a gathering of maybe spiritual people. Olympic is a gathering of sports people, And it's looked at from the economic angle. And that's how you do everything. The economic is an integral part of it. A grand pilgrimage of India according to the Mahabharata. There were 4 known people who didn't participate in Mahabharata. One of them was Balram. And he didn't participate in what did he said? I am going on a pilgrimage. It's basically if a country goes into a war, you have to take care of the economy. And that is what Balram was doing it. And Balram always represented the economy. He always had a hull. जिससे आप खेत जोतते हैं. That's how Balram has always been portrayed, that he represents economy because agriculture was the economy in those times of the days. So this is a very classic, and it covers the whole of India. And Udyog is the word for industry across language. Tamil may be, Kashmiri may be, Bengali may be, Assamese may be. And the 18th chapter, the chapter before war begins, is called Udyog Parva. And if you read today's Times of India, there's a research which says that every big civilizational change comes after a war. And that's what we said, If you have a grown society or a growing society, you will have to face war. That's a clear-cut sign of development, unfortunately or fortunately, the way you look at it. Here I was talking about the current and I've linked to the past, but I'll get into the middle period of it. And there is excellent research paper. It was been written so beautifully that I like to read it from it. I didn't want to type it again. But before that I move, this gentleman written a book, Indian Art, GCM Birdwood. Banaras is the first city in Bharat for the multitude and excellence of its cast and sculptured with images and embedded, not only in brass and copper, but in gold and silver, and also in wood and stone and clay. The next para is more interesting. The industry has sprung up naturally from the service of numerous temples of the city and has converted the personages of every mandir into an ecclesiastical bazaar. It was this way that the seats of those who sold doves of sacrifice and tables of the bankers, saukars in India, who exchanged unholy for holy coins, were gradually intruded into the outer court of the temple at Jerusalem. So that's how the Italian or Jerusalem temples learned how to build church. The bell actually was used in India and it was later adopted by the church. So because in India, the whole industry, the metal industry developed because of temple. आपको मूर्तियाँ बनानी थी, आपको घंटी बनाने थे, दिया बनाना था. And that's how it evolved. So whole industry in India evolved around the temple. The next example is from South Temple because हमारे देश में बहुत जल्दी लोग divide करने लगते हैं. अच्छा, आपने तो सिर्फ North का example दिया. South में ऐसा नहीं होता था. So this is a paper which you can search on the net. The State, the Temple and Agriculture Development Study in Medieval South India by Burton Stinn. It talks about South Indian regional development carried out by temples during the Chola and Vijayanagar period, 1900 to 1600 AD. It's a bit long para. I'll read it slowly. I need your attention for it. The trustees of a Saivite shrine and a Vaishnavite shrine, along with some private person, arranged to have a river channel excavated through the land of one temple in order to support the tank on the lands of the other temple. As a compensation for permission to cross its land, 1 acre of land was given to the former temple. So there was a pure system. It was not a haphazard system कि हम कैसे भी काम कर लेंगे. The medieval South Indian temples were the chief non-state agencies involved in the reclamation of land. South Indian historian Neelkant Shastri spoke of temple as having the following economic function: landholder, employer, consumer of goods and services. But the best part, which links to the microfinance, comes. The rulers of Vijayanagar, dedicated to the promotion of Hindu institutions, poured large sums of money into temples. This money was not buried in vaults. It was possessed into immediate service by temple officials. At the Tirupati temple, the form in which these monies were employed to earn an income was through irrigation investment. At Sri Rangapatnam, it appears money endowments were employed in making commercial loan to business firms. In Tiruchirappalli, at other temples, such funds were loaned to village assemblies or individuals. It appears that every temple had one or perhaps several ways in which its money trust could be employed for productive or other purpose. The channeling of these funds with which the temples were endowed took place within what might be thought of an economic system formed by institutions and persons which had economic ties to the temple. And this whole paper is available on the net free, 10 odd pages, brilliantly written. You can go and have a look at it if you're really interested.